last tour vlog, we covered some of the hottest places in the Southwest: Phoenix, Denver, Albuquerque, and Vegas, where we had temperatures as high as 122 degrees. And while we ended up canceling the Vegas show, we were excited to be back on the road, headed to California, where I had concerts in San Diego, Orange County, Burbank, San Francisco, and Sacramento. Here we go. One of the challenges of organizing this tour as an independent artist was finding venues that weren't too big but not too small, that had a good piano and was affordable so that we would come out of each concert in the black. But the scary thing was catapulting oneself into the unknown and only having stats to go off of. Would you sell tickets? Would people show up? I had 5 concerts in California, and going into it, I won't lie, I was a little nervous. Not about performing, but just nervous about how successful the shows would be or not. Booking venues in California was absolutely the hardest part of the entire tour. To give you an idea, the concert hall that we booked in Salt Lake City would cost us up to 3 to 4 times as much money to book in the Los Angeles area. And then, when you do the math and account for the number of tickets you sell, if you sell them, will it make up for the cost of the venue to put on the concert in the first place? Like I said, finding venues in California was super difficult, and it even got to a point where I had to start asking around to friends for suggestions, which honestly wasn't even that helpful because most of the people would just suggest major concert halls or theaters that seated thousands of people and cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Where does the indie artist perform though? I started to hear horror stories from other artists about trying to perform in LA. You have to pay to play there is something I heard a lot of. We absolutely skip booking LA on our tours. It's too expensive and everyone expects free tickets because it's an industry crowd. All of these frustrations were part of the journey of booking California, but we were still determined. I had a large fan base in California and really wanted to make it part of my tour. And ultimately, we ended up booking 5 concerts at smaller, lesser-known venues, but ones that would work for my concert format. First up was San Diego. I was already feeling apprehensive because, similar to our Vegas show, San Diego wasn't selling well. But the people who were coming to the show were actually a lot of fans who were specifically flying in from other parts of the country, and so there was no way I was going to cancel the show. To make things more complicated, the venue we booked in San Diego was only giving us 2 hours of load-in and setup time. If you've been following my tour vlog, then you've probably by now understood the massive amount of work it has been for us to set up at each show. Usually anywhere between 6 and 7 hours of setup time, including sound check, and then another 2 hours of loadout, not including post-show pictures and autographs. And on top of it all, it was also the weekend of Comic-Con, and I was starting to feel like maybe I should have just tried to perform at Comic-Con instead of competing with them for an audience. Nevertheless, though, we were going to make this work. I was able to rally some good friends to San Diego, most of whom were also there for Comic-Con, to help us load in and set up. And right before my concert was supposed to start, all of a sudden, our stage lights and equipment went dark, and the house lights went on, as in, could not get them to turn off. Worse, the house manager had already gone home and wasn't there to help, and no amount of troubleshooting with the employee there on duty helped. Thankfully, we got our sound equipment and lights on stage to work again, but I ended up having to play to a fully lit house that made the fact that it was only about 25% full even more obvious. Reason why you hear all of these cliche sayings like the show must go on. It's from all the years of performers dealing with last-minute craziness but still making it work without the audience knowing what's really going on behind the scenes. Despite all of the things going wrong in San Diego though, those who did come to the concert were some of the most gracious and lovely fans I'd met thus far. Those who flew in gave me wonderful compliments. I got to hear stories from people who'd been listening to my music for years and more. Another late night, it was back up to our hotel to pack up and head to Orange County. Did I mention that our 3 LA-based concerts were all back-to-back? The next day, we were in Orange County. I was looking forward to seeing my friend Jeremy again, as he was opening up the shows in both Orange County and Burbank. We are here at Kim's Piano in Stanton, setting up for tonight's concert. a 9-foot shigeru kulai. I just tried it out and it's really beautiful. We were struggling again with some extremely hot temperatures, some minor venue issues, and once again, the idiom, "the show must go on," was ringing pretty true. Orange County was about 75% sold out, and yet probably a good 20 ticket holders didn't even show up. It was the weirdest thing. Both Jeremy and I were completely baffled. I was beginning to wonder if this was just going to be a common thing with our California shows. Like, is it normal that people buy tickets and then just not show up? Regardless though, we performed our best, met some really awesome people, and then loaded up and loaded out and headed even further north to Burbank. Now that Burbank was our third show in California and we were having some questionable experiences so far, I was starting to wonder how the Burbank concert would turn out. Yes, I'm in a grocery store again, getting bananas with my hair like this. It's so embarrassing. I needed this one to be exceptional too, as I had a concert reviewer there, and I also had several well-known music friends who were going to be in the audience as well. And as of the morning of the show, we were pretty much sold out. But I mean, would that necessarily mean all the seats would be filled? I did a little pre-show VIP sound check for this concert, which was fun. And even though I had to do it in my Marie Antoinette hairdo, I'll always have goofy pictures to treasure. There's a few people still out there. My friend Jill.
Oh, Jayla's comments.
Burbank ended up totally knocking my socks off. I couldn't have asked for a better way to end the LA concerts.
Fixated on reposting or commenting on.
Not only were the seats filled, but people showed up early, they were excited, and also probably won the Best Dressed Audience Award in my book. They were into the music, they were responsive, and they were just so present with their energy. The next day, I had a glowing concert review and music connection. And I was also told by my publicist that for me to sell out Burbank and have that crowd was a huge accomplishment. And she also attested to the fact that it was hard to get people in LA out to shows. So despite all of the frustration that week, I walked away feeling pretty good about what we accomplished. Burbank concerts and we're loading up. We just finished the third concert this week. We had 3 back-to-back concerts. It was really busy, really super exhausting, but it's done. Now we have the next 4 days off. We're taking the kids to Disneyland and Universal Studios. We're also going to spend time at the pool and just relax because this family has been working hard. So hard. Everyone. We're ready for a break. Next concerts are San Francisco and Sacramento a week from now. So, yay! This is what day off is all about.
Okay, silly faces.
3 back-to-back shows, and now we were finally going to have a few days off to do something our kids were waiting all tour to do. Disneyland and Universal Studios, baby. Something I haven't told you guys yet is that each of my tour shows, our boys were earning money by helping to unload, set up, and also set up and manage the merch table sales. Yes, my 9 and 11-year-old boys were using my Square reader and taking credit cards. They did a great job, and now their hard work was going to be rewarded with some major fun.
I did it!
Very convincing at all. We also have not placed our rain everywhere, as if the filmmakers shoot through it. Oh, no. As I mentioned, which is why this entire area is known as the Metropolitan City Sets.
I have to say though that even though these were days off, we logged roughly 20 miles of walking around every day at the theme parks, and with the crowds, lines, and walking around, it definitely wasn't relaxation. It was massively fun though.
At Disneyland!
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do.
The final 2 concerts of California were first San Francisco and then Sacramento.